So hi again, we're going to do some stabilising asanas now, and these ones are going to be particularly good for any instability within your pelvis, or even if you have any deep groin pain, that might be an indication that there is some instability already. Naturally, there is going to be that instability because of the hormones relaxing those three ligaments within the pelvis. So just being aware of that, and even incorporating these stabilising exercises at least once or twice a week, or as often as you can throughout your pregnancy. The reasons for that is that even if you don't have that pain, it could show itself again in another pregnancy. Okay, so we're just wanting to protect our body and protect these joints as much as we can through this time where our body's under immense stress and strain. So let's work with that, and we're going to shake out our wrists and our legs, just moving, warming up a little bit. We might want to flick our feet, okay, and just doing a little bit of grounding out through our thighs, just warming up our thighs a little bit, chest out nice and wide. We might want to do a little bit of a side to side. You might want to incorporate in your arms. Lovely, just stretching that body a bit. If it's pulling too much on your body, around your waist and your baby, then just doing your little side to side. Okay. We're going to come over to our wall, and we're going to do a nice little starter, pushing our lower back into the wall behind you. Firstly, that's going to be one awareness. The second one is having our feet nice and pushed into the earth. So allowing your heels to push quite deep into the floor so that you can actually lift your toes up a little bit. As you lift your toes up and squeeze your inner thighs, you are going to be really activating and waking up those legs. This might be the first time that you've sat really strongly like this. Pushing that lower back in so that that whole part of your pelvis is pushed into the wall. If it's comfortable, we can have our shoulders pushed in, but if that feels too unnatural, then just staying with having your shoulders naturally off the wall. For increased stretch here, we can incorporate our arms, palms facing up, and just reaching our hands out in front of you. Now is probably a really good time to bring our attention to our breath, because we don't want to be holding our breath at all. Taking a nice deep breath in, feeling nice and strong, engaging your core. There's no reason why we can't engage our core while we are doing these passive abdominal grabs, because we're not doing sit-ups obviously, but we can use our abs in different ways to still activate them. And this just means that the repair afterwards is going to be a lot better and quicker. And it's also to make sure that if you do go back into exercise, that you can avoid some of those big gaps that are created. Okay, so bringing your hands out in front, or you can have them elbows tucked in nice and tight, or we might want to spread our hands. Obviously you'd come out of this whenever you feel, but you could try to stay here for 5 minutes, and in that time you could do various ways to bring your awareness to what you're doing by counting back from 10, or following a breath sequence like we were doing in the clip just before, which was your inhaling of 4, out exhaling of 5, and you can just increase that. Inhaling 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you exhale out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If your hands and arms are getting tired, bring them to your heart space or bringing them down into your legs. But just trying to stay here for as long as possible. It really is challenging, and that is key, to stay with the uncomfortable. Challenge yourself. Feeling a little bit uncomfortable is how we make our change. So sitting with that, acknowledging the strength, drawing your knees into one another, activating your inner thigh. Lovely. If there's anything else that you could do is softening your shoulders, softening your jaw. Be soft all around the top except your legs. Your legs are strong, your hips are pushed, and your pelvic is pushed back into the wall. There's a tucking under of your pelvis, real subtly, just so that you're getting that real flat push from your lower back. All right, we're going to slowly come out. You might want to relax your thighs, walking yourself up the wall and just shaking your legs out here. Okay, so yeah, 5 or 10 minutes of that one a day is going to be quite beneficial. Now this isn't part of a stabilising. This is more if you've got any sciatic pain, but just avoid this. You could do it quite just sitting like this. This is going to help release into the sciatic nerve, and it's just a really nice stretch for your hips. Because lying down and doing your lifting one that we can do, that's just not really available to you now. So we can do, our toes are drawn back into our shins, we're sitting up nice and tall, and we're allowing that hip to stretch out. We might want to just lay our hand on our leg, and that's going to bring about a little bit more of a stretch. Your knee is directly over your ankle and you're sitting up nice and tall. Okay, so just being aware of that. You might want to just lift your toes up and place them down so that it's all connecting to all parts of your foot. Lovely. We can incorporate in a little stretch by grabbing the back of our chair. And this is an opening stretch. We're not doing this one because it is crossing over your belly, and we don't do any crossing over belly stretches. The little one here, back to the center, legs coming down. Other side, again drawing your toes back to your shins. Your knee is directly over your ankle, and you might be just pushing that leg out with your hand again. It's really simple, but it's quite a good deep stretch at a time where you're probably not getting much stretching. Okay, so open belly stretch again. You can incorporate in the arm if you wish. Otherwise, this is just enough as it is. Remember to bring ourselves back to the breath, and remember why we're doing this. We're doing this for overall well-being, for ourselves and for our baby. And back to the center and down. Coming down to our floor, bended legs, hands coming behind your body. And our legs are going to want to be as wide as possible for this one. And we're wanting to engage our core, so drawing baby back to the back of our body. And hopefully your wrists are feeling okay, but again, you would have your pillow and your props right there, just to lift up your wrist a little bit. Okay, taking a nice deep breath in and out to start. And then on the next inhalation, we're going to raise up, lifting our bottom up. We can squeeze our bottom in, drawing our belly back and engaging our belly. Tucking our chin under and just breathing here. This one is strengthening all of those surrounding pelvic girdle type muscles and also your core and your bottom. your glutes, and lowering back down. So you are breathing while we're in that pose. Take another deep breath in and out, and we're just going to go up again. Pushing up, feeling that strength in our quads and our glutes. Breathing deeply. You could drop your head back if you want, looking left and right, but if there's any pain, don't do that. Head back down to your chest and slowly lowering back down. You could keep going with that one, but just in the interest of for today, we're going to just move along, but you can do 5 to 10 of each posture. So the walls, 5 minutes, the stretch here, 5 minutes. This one here, do 5 to 10, or just whatever you're feeling, okay? In between that, we might want to rest. So having a nice big blanket or on hand that you come through into a variation of child's pose. So legs are nice and wide, and we're just dropping down and resting. You might want to rest with fists, forehead, like so. And there's a space between your belly, obviously, however big your belly is, and resting. You could just stop there, or we could just go on to one more, which is our Gomakasana. So starting, best way to start, on all fours, okay? Tucking, it can be a little bit tricky, so just tucking whatever leg you want to start with behind your front leg, or behind the leg that's not going to go behind, okay? And initially, when you sit back, obviously you're going to have your belly there, and you should be able to sit back and not compromise your belly at all. But once you're back and you're in this sitting position, you can adjust yourself as you need. Okay, so you might be really up like this, and so you want to grab your little bolster or pillow and just come to the other side, and that's going to balance out so you're even on your hips. You'll probably start to feel a really nice stretch in there. It might be really uncomfortable, but that's okay as long as it's not painful. Can it be a little bit uncomfortable? Yes, it can. All right, we could choose to point and flex our toes, point and flex, or we can use this as a meditative type position where we could then, whatever leg's on top is what arm's going to be on top. We're going to do a little tucking under. So we've got our right arm here and our right leg is over. We're going to bring our left arm under so that our forearms are trying to touch one another. You might not be able to go any further, but you're going to do one twist over and under, and then another twist with your wrists. Don't squash down in here in your chest. Give yourself space to move. If we lift up our elbows even more, we're opening up that space behind our back for a really nice deep breath. And breathing, as you probably know, feeling really tight and compressed in your chest is a biggie for your third trimester or even just throughout your pregnancy. So this is a great one to create space across your chest. Breathing nice and deeply here. Lovely. Releasing gently and maybe just opening up your arms over your head, back down, and just resting. You could actually not do that twist with your arms, and you might want to bring your bolster over or some type of cushion and just using this time for a deeper stretch here. Okay, so there's lots of variations, but you might want, if you don't need this under here, that's fine, and you're just feeling around so that you feel even on both. Slowly coming out by bringing your legs out in front of you, wriggling them out. You might want to come on to your all fours and then going back. So this time, whatever leg was over the top is the one that goes behind, okay? hopefully that's clear. It can seem a little bit, you get caught up in, oh, my leg's over here and there, but one leg is over top, one leg is under the bottom. This bottom leg, just pull it out a little bit. Gomakasana supposedly looks like a cow. So with, I guess these are the ears. Arm over and under. Let's do that slowly. Over elbow, and you've got your two hands, back of your hands facing one another, and they're also going to interlace if that's available to you. Hands pointing up, drawing those elbows out, and taking a few nice deep breaths here. You maybe want to stay here for 30 seconds or a minute. You can use this as a meditative pose, like I was saying before. And your arm, if this is pushing a little bit on the lower back, then you could do a variation where your legs are like a square, okay? And again, if it feels like you're really lifted over on that lifted leg, you just tuck yourself under like this. And then you can do the variation again with your bolster. So coming out, and yeah, that's a few little sequences there that you can go through, and you can incorporate them into any of the prenatal sequence, just depending on where you're wanting or what you're needing, and just work with it how you please. But we'll finish up there, and I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you.